Hello everyone, my name is Sarafi and I'm happy to meet you all. And I just woke up. But a new box has been added to the game. It's probably going to be live by the time all of you see it, so let's take a look at the box itself and see what cards are in it. I don't know anything about it, except that Red Eye's Soul apparently is in it, but otherwise, this will be a completely blind reaction. Alright, Minibox Explosion of Meteor. Red Eyes Black Meteor Dragon. This is a level 6 Dark Dragon monster. I've never seen this card. You can summon one level 5 or higher normal monster from your hand or deck to the graveyard to special summon this card from your hand, then increase its level by 1. Okay, you know. So you get to mill, like, Beast of Talwar, or you can mill Red Eyes. And its level becomes 7, which is nice. During your main phase, except the turn this card was sent to the graveyard, you can banish this card from your graveyard to add one Red Eyes Fusion from your deck or graveyard to your hand. Okay. So, draw, so support, you can, this is a Red Eyes Fusion target. You can use this to make Meteor Black Dragon because it's a level 6 effect monster. So, okay. This is like a better card for the Red Eyes deck to play than the Meteor Impact that they've been playing. Yeah, that's a great option. I like it. Amazement Administrator Arlecchino. Okay, so Amazement is an archetype about using trap cards that either equip to your monsters or your opponent's monsters. They have different effects based on which one you choose. That's an interesting idea. The problem is, like with all equipped decks, do we have enough space for the spell and traps? We'll have to see. So Arlecchino, level 7 Dark Psychic monster with 2600 attack points. Once per turn, you can banish any number of attraction traps from your graveyard, then target that many cards your opponent controls and destroy them. You can only use each of the following effects of Amazement Administrator Arlecchino once per turn. If a trap card is activated, you can special summon this card from your hand. Okay, so that's either player. That's really nice. If your opponent normal or special summons a monster except during the damage step, you can target one of those face-up monsters they control and equip one attraction trap from your deck to that target. Wow. Okay. So you get disruption from your deck. That's really good. I mean, we'll have to see what the attraction cards do, but assuming that there's a few of them that can negate effects or maybe turn the monster face down or something like that, yeah, this will be a good option. Ancient Warriors Double Dragon Lords. This is a super rare. This is awesome. Okay, so this is a great card. Ancient Warriors Oath Double Dragon Lords. Link 2 with 1100 attack points. It requires 2 Beast Warrior monsters, including a Wind Ancient Warriors monster. All Ancient Warrior monsters you control gain 500 attack and defense. And once per turn, if this card is Link Summoned, you can add one Ancient Warriors card from your deck to your hand. Then as a quick effect, you can send one card from your hand or field to the graveyard, target one face-up card your opponent controls, and bounce it. So this card sees a lot of play in Tri-Brigades, because Tri-Brigades can ignore the requirement of a Wind Ancient Warrior monster and just use any 2 Winged Beast, or Beast Warrior monster from their graveyard to Link Summon it. But still, it's nice that we're going to get this in the game. I was excited because it was a super rare, but it doesn't really matter because it's a mini box. So, still, this is a card that you should definitely get if you're interested in playing Tri-Brigades or Ancient Warriors. Ferocious Flame Swordsman is finally in a real box. Good. So this card, for those of you that don't know, requires 2 monsters of different names, has 1300 attack points, and all warrior monsters on the field gain 500 attack points. So it actually has 1800. If this Link Summon card is destroyed by battle or by an opponent's card effect while in this owner's monster zone, you can target one non-Link warrior monster in your graveyard and special summon it, but banish it when it leaves the field. So this is fantastic for Blackluster Soldier. It's good for the Salamandra and Phoenix deck. It's going to be good for Battle and Boxers. So any deck that uses Fire Warriors is going to really like it. Any deck that uses just Warriors will also like it, but I don't think it's going to see playing decks like Heroes, for example, just because they get locked so much. You should definitely take a look at this card if you see any use of it for your Warrior decks. Amazement Attendant Comica. This is a level 4 machine monster. When this card is normal summon, you can set one attraction trap directly from your deck. You can target one attraction trap equipped to a monster and equip it to an amazement monster you control, or one face-up monster your opponent controls. Okay, so this card allows you to switch your attraction traps on the fly. That's really useful. It also lets you set an attraction trap directly from your deck, so that's basically like Altergeist Marionette. So Amazement Attendant Comica will be as useful to Amazement as Marionette is to Altergeist. Any search that we can get is good, so I do think this card will see play in Amazement decks. Witchcrafter Heine. Okay, we're finally getting the end of the Witchcrafter archetype. Cool. This is a level 7 spellcaster. It has 2,400 attack points, and it says your opponent cannot target other spellcasters you control with card effects, and as a quick effect you can discard one spell, then target one face-up card on the field your opponent controls and destroy it. You can only use this effect of Heine once per turn. Okay. That's fantastic. Witchcrafters are able to special summon other Witchcrafters really easily, so Heine doesn't need an inherent special summon, she just needs to be played in a Witchcrafter deck. And, she's level 7, so you can't play her in Dark Magicians with Magician's Magic, because that locks you into level 6, which is good. I don't want her to get summoned off of Magical Dimension, although there's nothing that stops Witchcrafters from playing Magical Dimension. This will be a very strong option for Witchcrafters, and I do think that with all the spellcaster support we've gotten recently, Witchcrafters deserve another look. They did unlimit Witchcrafter Holiday, so yeah. If you like Witchcrafters, if you already have all the other Witchcrafter cards, this box might be worth taking a peek at. Bujinte Kagutsuchi. Okay, cool. We're getting the other Bujin cards. Cool. This is a rank 4. Requires 2 level 4 Beast Warriors monsters. When this card succeeds summon, send the top 5 cards of your deck to the graveyard, or your entire deck of less than 5. That's amazing. Milling 5 cards in a 20-card deck is great. Also, this card gains 100 attack for each Bujin card sent to the graveyard by this effect. So, if you mill exactly 5, it will have 3,000 attack points. If a Bujin Beast Warrior monster you control will be destroyed by a battle or card effect, you can touch one material from this card instead of destroying one of those monsters. You can only control one Bujinte Kagutsuchi. Okay. This is an easy card to make off of Torafude. It protects itself from being destroyed. It's got a lot of attack points. It doesn't get to attack every monster your opponent controls like Susanoo does, but it's more of a defensive option as opposed to an offensive option. I don't see a problem with having this card in your extra deck as a one-of, but I don't know how many times you'll summon it. Brotherhood of the Fire Fist Peacock. Oh, there's a female Fire Fist monster? Huh, okay. Link to 1,000 attack points, requires 2 Fire Fist monsters. While this card points to a Fire Fist monster, your opponent cannot target this card for a card. Your opponent cannot target this card for attack. When this card declares an attack, you can send one face-up Fire Formation spell or trap you control to the graveyard, then target one monster your opponent controls, place that opponent's monster in a zone this card points to, and take control of it until the end phase. But it cannot declare an attack this turn. You can only use this effect of Brotherhood of the Fire Fist Peacock once per turn. Okay. So it's obvious why this is a rare. If we were in a meta where you had a main phase 2, you could just use the monster as link material or Xyz material, but the fact that you only take control of it until the end of the turn, and it can't declare an attack, means that you are basically hoping that either the monster has a quick effect that can be activated during the battle phase that will be beneficial to you, like, for example, Ancient Warriors, Double Dragon Lords, right? You could just take it and then use its effect, send it to the graveyard to bounce something on the opponent's field, or you're just trying to get it out of the way so you can attack directly. Is that good enough? It's not like Fire Fist has many options. I don't see why you couldn't put this in your extra deck and just wait for it to be useful. I don't think that you'll have a lot competing for that 8th slot, so maybe run this as a one-of, and it'll win you some games that you otherwise would have lost, but I'm not too hopeful. Let's see. Alright. They didn't highlight the last ultra rare for some reason. Ancient Warriors Masterful Sun Maw. Okay. This is a level 4 water beast warrior monster with 1800 attack and 1500 defense. While you control another Ancient Warriors monster, your opponent's monsters cannot target this card for attacks. You can only use each of the following effects of Ancient Warriors Masterful Sun Maw once per turn. You can send one card from your hand or field to the graveyard. Add one Ancient Warriors monster from your deck to your hand, except Ancient Warriors Masterful Sun Maw. And if your other Ancient Warriors monsters' effects are activated, you can target one monster your opponent controls and return it to the hand. Wow, okay. So you get double bounce with the Spirit card. And it lets you just search every single turn. It's important to note that this card is searchable off of Fire Formation Tenki, and we are getting a Fire Formation skill that allows you to swap Tensu from your hand to draw Tenki. So I do think that Ancient Warriors is going to play that skill, the Fire Formation skill, with Tensu and Tenki, and just do very, very well. You might think that Tenki is not that useful to Ancient Warriors, but they do require you to send cards from your hand or field to the graveyard to activate their effects. So having these continuous spells just sitting there that you don't need does give you targets for that. Number 74, Master of Blades. Again, I've never seen this card before. It's an Earth Psychic monster. Requires 2 level 7. So I guess they're expecting that we're going to make this an Amazement. During either player's turn, when a card or effect is activated that targets this face-up card, you can attach one Exceeds material from this card and negate the activation, and if you do, destroy that card. Then you can destroy one card on the field. Okay. Interesting. So, Amazement can target this with their attraction traps, then negate their own trap to get a free pop. And it doesn't target. The pop doesn't target. Okay, you know, that might be worth 2 level 7s. I don't have a problem with this. Okay, so maybe Amazement can make this work. It depends on how many level 7s they have. Witchcrafter Creation. Add one Witchcrafter monster from your deck to your hand. During your end phase, if you control a Witchcrafter monster while this card is in your graveyard, you can add this card to your hand. You can only use one Witchcrafter Creation effect per turn, only once that turn. Cool, so it's a search that's refutable. Yeah, Witchcrafters have been lacking a good search card. It does only add monsters, but I think that's still very valuable, allowing you to get the cards that you need to start your place. So yeah, I think this card will be seen play probably at 3 in Witchcrafters. Ancient Warriors Saga 3 Visits. Okay, so this is like the big Ancient Warriors starter card, I believe. I've seen Ancient Warriors played before, and I know that they summon like a bunch of monsters at once, but I'm not sure how they do it. So let's look at this. During your main phase, if you normal or special summon an Ancient Warrior monster, you can target one of those Ancient Warrior monsters and add one Ancient Warrior monster with a different name from your deck to your hand. Okay, so you have a card that special summons itself from your hand, or normal summons itself. Then you get to search for a different card, likely a card that can special summon itself, and then bring that card out. Okay, so this makes more sense as to how this works. We're probably going to be able to summon 2 or 3 monsters at the same time using a chain, which is good. If this card is sent from the spell and trap zone to the graveyard, you can special summon one Ancient Warriors monster from your hand. Oh, okay, cool. So, you summon one Ancient Warrior, you draw an Ancient Warrior. Maybe you have an Ancient Warrior that lets you send a card you control to the graveyard to special summon itself, and then you can use the effect of 3 visits to then special summon a third card. Okay. This is a good card that we'll see play. We're getting Ahashima? Oh no. Oh, chat, this is going to be good. Bujinki Ahashima. Don't even care about it, the Bujin part, chat. This is a good card. Requires 2 Beast Warrior monsters. Oh, sorry, no, it doesn't work. It's a Beast Warrior monster, but it requires 2 monsters with the same level. Cannot be used as link material. You can only use each of the following effects once per turn. If this card is link summon, you can special summon 2 monsters with the same level. 1 from your hand and 1 from the graveyard, but negate their effects, and immediately after this effect resolves, Xyz summon an Xyz monster using those 2 monsters only. That is such a good card. This is going to see play in decks like Galaxy Eyes, because you can summon a level 8 monster from your graveyard and a level 8 monster from your hand, and then you make them into your... You can make them into Photon Lord if we get Photon Lord in December. You can make them into Dingirsu. You can make them into Galaxy Eye Cypher Dragon. You can play this in a rank 5 deck, like, for example, the... what is it called? The Editen the Conqueror Star deck, and get a level 5 that you already used as fusion material from your graveyard, and the level 5 that you drew off of Editen from your deck. Special summon it. This is going to make some really good options for tokens, because you just need to summon 2 tokens that are the same. So I guess even Stray Lambs will let you trigger this, I believe. If I don't know if Stray Lambs has a requirement of you can't special summon, but there are plenty of cards that will allow you to just get 2 tokens that are the same level, and then you could just link them both off. So you're going to want to use this effect in a lot of Xyz decks. It's great. If an Xyz monster this card points to activates an effect by detaching materials, you can target one spell or trap your opponent controls and destroy it. Cool. This effect is not that useful in the real game, but in Duel Links, where we set 3 and pass, that effect is considerably better. I would say that Ahashima is worth the ultra rare slot, so this is definitely a card that's worth going into the box for by itself. Very powerful effect. Both effects are really good. I can't stress how much this card will be useful to you. Double Dragon Lords we already talked about. Kabanka we already talked about. Amazing Time Ticket. Quick play spell. Pay in earned life points, then apply this effect depending on whose turn it is. If it's your turn, you can add an Amazement card from your deck to your hand. If it's your opponent's turn, you can set one attraction trap directly from your deck and can be activated this turn. Wow, that's good. Okay, so you either get your starter on your turn, or if you already have your starter, you set this, and then you get a trap card that you can use to immediately disrupt your opponent's plays. The problem is, you have to have space. So you set the ticket, and then it sets a card directly from the deck, but you can't use the zone that Amazing Time Ticket is in, because it's got Amazing Time Ticket in it. So you have to have an empty space in a trap deck to set your other trap. And it's not like activating your first attraction trap that you set is going to take it off the field. It's an equip card. So I'm not too sure about how good Amazement's going to be in a format with only 3 zones. We'll have to see. The draw is really good, though. Alright, that's all for the super rares. Ancient Warriors Graceful Zhao Gong. This is a level 4 water beast warrior. You can target one continuous spell card trap you control, send it to the graveyard, and if you do, add one Ancient Warrior spell or trap from your deck to your hand. Okay, so this is how we trigger the 3 visits. If your other ancient... Oh, and it works on Fire Formation Tanky as well. Wow, this is a good card. If your other Ancient Warrior monster's effect is activated, you can target one effect monster your opponent controls, negate its effects until the end of the turn. Great. Okay, so we have a negate, and it's a quick play. Wow, okay. Yeah. It's only level 4. It's only got 1600 attack points, but Double Dragon's Lords does raise this to 2100. Okay, you know, I could see this. This could be good. Another level 4. Where are the high-level monsters? I know there are high-level monsters in here. Okay. Ancient Warriors Virtuous Lu Zhan. 1400 attack, 1200 defense. This is a wind monster, so not a water monster. While you control another Ancient Warriors monster, your opponent's monsters cannot target this card for attacks. So this is like the nobleman who's being guarded. Each effect once per turn. If your opponent controls more monsters than you do, you can send one card from your hand or field to the graveyard and special summon one Ancient Warriors monster from your deck. Okay, there we go. So you summon Lu Zhan with the 3 visits. You send 3 visits to the graveyard, special summon a monster from your deck. That's fantastic. Then the continuous spell triggers, and you get to special summon a monster from your hand. Okay, the only problem that we're going to run into here is that we might run out of monster zones unless we start link summoning. We do have link summoning options. We'll have to see if we can get an optimal order of cards going here. When an attack is involved declaring another Ancient Warrior monster you control, you can draw 1 card. Wow, that's good. Okay, so it's an attack to declare, not your Ancient Warrior monster declaring an attack, and your opponent cannot target this monster for attacks. So they have to attack one of your other monsters, then you draw a card. And there are effects that require you to discard cards, like the Oath. So that could enable you during your opponent's turn to get a quick effect that you didn't otherwise have. So, fantastic. This is a great card. I don't know why this is a rare. Ancient Warriors, Loyal Guan Yun. Finally, we got one of the higher level ones. Okay. 2500 attack. If only your opponent controls a monster, you get special summon this card from your hand. Amazing. Your opponent cannot target other Ancient Warrior monsters you control with card effects. Wow, that's really good too. If your opponent controls more monsters than you do, you can target one monster your opponent controls and destroy it. Okay, cool. So we special summon this card this is the first card we special summon. We pop one of our opponent's monsters, and then we start normal summoning and special summoning, and this card protects other cards that we summon. Great. Fantastic. Love it. Ancient Warriors, Valiant Zhang Di. Gains 300 attack for each monster your opponent controls during your turn only. If you control 2 or more Ancient Warrior monsters, you can special summon this card from your hand. Wow, okay. This card has at least 3,000 attack points if your opponent controls a monster, and it's a free special. Okay. If your opponent controls more monsters than you do, you can activate this effect. This card can make up to 2 attacks on monsters during each battle phase this turn. That effect will probably be harder to activate unless you special summon this card from the deck, while you only have 2 monsters and your opponent has 3 monsters. It's not impossible, though. Just having a big beater, whether it can make 2 attacks or not, is fine. Yeah, I like this card. Ancient Warriors Saga Defense of Changban. I don't know the lore for this entire archetype, by the way. I assume this is telling one big story, but I don't know what it is. It's a continuous trap. If your Ancient Warrior monster battles, your opponent can activate any spells or traps until the end of the damage step. Sweet! All your Ancient Warriors become Ancient Gears. That's nice. You can only use one of the following effects per turn, and only once that turn. At the start of your opponent's battle phase, you can send this face-up card from your spell and traps under the graveyard. Monsters your opponent controls cannot target Ancient Warrior monsters for attacks this turn. That's amazing! So it's a Thunder of Ruler, assuming you only have Ancient Warrior monsters, that has a benefit during your turn as well. Okay. You know what? That's really solid. Obviously, your opponent can pop this before their battle phase, but if you have toggle on, you're just like, they're ending their main phase, you activate this card, then they're going to be like, oh, have they already, used their Nightmare Phoenix? Have they already played an MST? Do they still have resources? Maybe they have to change up their strategy and commit more resources on the field. Maybe they have to link a monster that has higher attack points off to make their Nightmare Phoenix so that they can even declare an attack at all. This is a good card. When your opponent's monster declares an attack, you can banish this card from your graveyard and special summon one Ancient Warriors monster from your deck. Wow. Okay. That's insane. Just any free special from the deck when your opponent's monster declares an attack, so you can bring out a monster that has a quick effect to mess with them. Okay. Yeah. I don't know the exact line here, but this looks like a really good deck. Ancient Warriors Fearsome Zhangyan. Okay, this is a fire monster. Level 6. All other Ancient Warrior monsters you control cannot be destroyed by battle. Nice. Each effect once per turn at the start of the damage step. When your Ancient Warrior monster battles an opponent's face-up monster, you can special summon this card from your hand, and if you do, that opponent's monster loses 1,000 attack points. Sweet. Okay, so you can special summon it during the damage step. So that means that your opponent has already declared an attack. They cannot redirect attacks, and this card comes down, and your other monsters cannot be destroyed by battle. Insane. So even if the 1,000 attack points isn't enough to save your monster still won't be destroyed. You take less damage, and now they have to deal with this additional threat on your board. If a card your opponent controls is destroyed by battle or card effect, you can target one card your opponent controls and destroy it. Okay. So if they happen to mess up and they attack into a monster that has like 900 less attack points, so the 1,000 attack points turns it on you, then you also get to target one card your opponent controls and pop it. So this card could literally take 2 monsters off your opponent's field during their battle phase that they weren't expecting. That's a great hand trap. Wow, I love this card. And finally, it looks like Ancient Warriors Ingenious Zhug Kong. Level 4 Wind. If this card is added from the deck to the hand by the effect of an Ancient Warriors card, you can special summon it. Sweet. When a spell or trap card is activated as a quick effect, you can send one face-up Ancient Warriors continuous spell or trap you control to the graveyard, negate the activation. Nice, that's a good card. When a monster effect is activated while you control Ancient Warriors Virtuous Lujan, you can send one face-up Ancient Warriors spell or trap you control to negate the activation. Okay, and Lujan is the prince. Okay, that's fine. You can only use each effect of Ancient Warriors Ingenious You once per turn. Okay, yeah, so I don't know that this card will see play in the deck, but I mean, since it special summons itself when it gets searched, maybe played as one of, as an option. It's good. Ancient Warrior Saga Borrowing of Arrows. You can target one face-up monster your opponent controls and one Ancient Warrior monster you control until the end of the turn. Have that monster's attack, and if you do, add the lost attack to your monster, even if this card leaves the field. Wow. Okay, so it's just a Ruroku. Ruroku is a good card. It doesn't see play just because it's generic and removal is better, but this has other effects, so the Ruroku effect should not be discounted. If this card is sent to the graveyard while you control Ancient Warrior monsters with 2 or more different attributes, you can place one Ancient Warrior's continuous spell trap from your hand or deck face up on your field. Nice. Okay, so that gives you additional fuel to keep sending cards, and yeah, okay. This is going to make the Ancient Warriors deck work perfectly. At least one for this card. It's good. Amazement Precious Park. Okay, so this is a field spell. During your main phase, you can activate one attraction trap the turn it was set. Sweet. That's going to make this deck a lot better because a trap heavy deck is going to be slow otherwise. During the end phase, you can send one attraction trap you control equipped to a monster to the graveyard, then target one of your attraction traps with a different name that is banished from your graveyard and set that card. That's probably fine. Okay, we have not seen any of the attraction cards yet. Here they are. Amaze Attraction Cyclocoaster. Target one Amazement card monster you control or one face-up monster your opponent controls and equip this card to it. You can activate the following effect based on which player controls the equipped monster. If it's you, you can target one spell or trap your opponent controls and send both it and this card to the graveyard. Good, so it's an MSG. Your opponent add one Amazement monster from your deck to your hand, and if you do, send this card to the graveyard. Okay, so it's either a search or it's a MSG. That's fine. You know, that's probably a card that you want to activate on your turn with the Precious Park, but that's not really a disruption card. I was hoping for more disruption here. Amaze Attraction Horror House. Target, yep. If it's you, you can target one effect monster your opponent controls and negate its effects until the end of the turn. And if it's your opponent, you can change the equipped monster to face down defense position. There we go. So we've got a Book of Moon that we can activate from the deck. Great. Once per turn, negating a monster's effects through a target is a fine effect. Looks like this is a Ghost Trick house. That's funny. So turning a monster face down. Ghost Tricks. Funny. Okay, Amaze Attraction Viking Vortex. If it's you, once per turn, when an opponent's monster declares an attack, negate the attack, and if you do, change control of the equipped monster until the end of the battle phase. And if it's your opponent, when the equipped monster activates its effects, return it to the hand. Okay, both of those effects are pretty decent. Good disruption. Being able to bounce a monster is nice, and negating an attack is okay. Bujin Arasada is being reprinted. That's good for the people who want to play Bujins. Witchcrafter Holiday and Witchcrafter Unveiling are being reprinted. Oh, there are more Ancient Warriors cards. Wow, okay. Ancient Warriors Eccentric Lujing. Level 4, 700 attack, 2000 defense. You can target one continuous spell or trap you control, send it to the graveyard, and if you do, add one Ancient Warrior spell or trap with a different name from your graveyard to your hand. If your other Ancient Warrior's monster effect is activated except during the damage step, you can target one spell or trap your opponent controls and destroy it. Okay. So popping a spell or trap your opponent controls is nice. This effect is useful for every deck to have. So that part is good, but it doesn't special summon itself, so I don't know if this card will see any play at all. Ancient Warrior Saga Sun Lu Alliance. If you control Ancient Warrior monsters with 2 or more different attributes, you can declare one attribute. Your opponent cannot activate the effects of monsters they currently control with that attribute until the end of the turn. Ooh, okay. Yeah, just turning your opponent's monster effects completely off before they even activate without targeting. That's really good. If your opponent special summons a monster or you activate an Ancient Warrior's monster effect, you can make all Ancient Warrior monsters you control gain 300 attack for each Ancient Warrior monsters you control until the end of the turn. Yeah, this seems like a very good going second card. It's not that useful going first, but it's kind of searchable, so yeah, I think this could see play as a one-off. Ancient Warrior's Ambitious Cowdee. Alright, level 8. While you control another Ancient Warrior's monster, your opponent cannot target this card with card effects. Also, it cannot be destroyed by your opponent's card effects. Great. 3,000 attack points. Once per turn, if a card your opponent controls is destroyed by battle or card effect, you can send one other card from your hand or field to the graveyard, special summon this card from your hand. Fantastic. When this card destroys an opponent's monster by battle and sends it to the graveyard, you can special summon that monster to your field and defense position. Okay. Another very good going second card. Is this good enough? It's a lot of attack points. We do want some boss monsters. I think that you could play this card. I don't see a reason why you couldn't. You can special summon any Ancient Warrior monster from your deck with the other cards, so yeah, why not? Ancient Warrior's Deceptive Jiawen. You can target one continuous spell or trap you control, send it to the graveyard, and if you do, have the attack of 2 face-up monsters on the field until the end of the turn. Doesn't target. Yeah, that's good. If a card your opponent controls is destroyed by battle or card effect, you can target one Ancient Warrior's card in your graveyard and add it to your hand. Okay, this will... Having the attack of monsters without targeting is a game-ending effect, especially if it's 2 monsters. Do you want to play cards that will just win you the game going second, or do you want to stack your deck with cards that will let you survive going first? That's the question. This is literally going to win you the game. So I think this card will see play. Ancient Warrior Saga East by South Winds. You must send this card to the graveyard during your second standby phase after activation. Once per turn during your main phase, toss a coin, and if the result is heads, send this card to the graveyard. If this card is sent from the spell trap zone to the graveyard, you can activate this effect. This turn, your opponent can activate cards or effects in response to the activation of your Ancient Warrior cards and effects. Also, until the end of this turn, all Ancient Warrior effect monsters you currently control gain this effect. When this card declares an attack, you can destroy one card your opponent controls. Wow! Okay. Alright. So, you need to send this card to the graveyard. And then all your Ancient Warrior monsters' effects cannot be negated or responded to. And they all get to pop a card without targeting. That's a really powerful effect. And Ancient Warriors have no problem sending continuous spell cards they control to the graveyard. Yeah, this card will see play. This card is good. Amazement Ambassador Buffo. Oh, it's adorable. Level 3 Beast. When this card is normal summon, you can target one attraction trap in your graveyard and one face-up monster your opponent controls. Equip that trap to your opponent's monster. And as a quick effect, you can target one of your attraction traps equipped to a monster and equip it to one Amazement monster. Okay, so it's another change effect. There aren't that many Amazement monsters. Now I'm looking at this deck. I don't know that this deck is going to work, because these traps need targets. Yeah, is this like only the 3rd monster? 1, 2, 3. Yeah, this is only the 3rd monster in the entire box. Yeah, this deck is not going to be that good. I mean, I guess you could run 3 of each of them. That would be 9. That would be enough for a 20-card deck, but, Amazement Special Show. When your opponent activates a card effect that targets an Amazement monster you control, target one of those Amazement monsters you control, return it to the hand, then you can special summon one Amazement monster from your hand. Okay, so just bounce and get an additional trigger of your special summon effects. That's fine. Amaze Attraction Wonder Wheel. During the main phase, if it's your monster, you can place one card from your hand on the bottom of your deck, then draw one card. That's fine. Your opponent's monster switch the equipped monster's attack and defense till the end of turn. Not as good as the other cards. Probably won't see play. Merry-Go-Round. The equipped monster gains 500 attack points, and if it would be destroyed by battle or card effect, you can send this card to the graveyard instead. That's great. That's like a Phantom Knight's sword, which sees play, so yeah. Your opponent, the equipped monster, loses 500 attack for each of your attraction traps equipped to a monster. Okay, so up to 1,500 attack points. Yeah, that's I don't know if this will be activatable during the damage step. It should be, because it can make monsters lose attack points, but the effect of the card is only to equip it, not to make a monster lose attack points. So, assuming that you can't activate this card during the damage step, it's not that good. If you can, it will be amazing. Amaze Attraction Rapid Racing. If it's your monster, target one card in your opponent's graveyard and change the equipped monster's battle position, and if you do, shuffle the target into the deck. Okay. That's not bad. Being able to switch your Bufo into defense position is nice. Your opponent's monster and equip the increased monster's level by 1. Increase the equipped monster's level by 1, and if you do, change its battle position. That's an interesting interruption. That will stop Xyz and Synchro plays. And you can equip it from the deck with Arlecchino. I don't think this card is bad to have as a one-of. And that looks like all the Amazement cards. Remote Revenge. Activate only when a monster you control is targeted by a spell trap or monster effect that destroys one card on the field. Switch the target to an appropriate monster your opponent controls. That's funny. Nitwit Outwits. That's cards on the great. Already in the game. Return. Ophidian. During your main phase, you can send this card from your hand to the graveyard and then target one Bujin monster you control. It can attack your opponent directly this turn. Okay, that's a good effect. Ibis. During your main phase 1, you can send this card to the graveyard, then target one Bujin monster you control, and this turn it inflicts piercing damage. Okay. Ignition is a reprint. Swallow is a reprint. Okay. Alright, there you go. So that's the box. In my opinion, Amazement will be a difficult deck to play. I don't know that it will be very good, but it does look interesting. If you like the Amazement theme, you should definitely give it a try. Bujins are getting some nice tools. I don't think that Bujins will be as impacted by this box, but Ahashima is a very, very good card. It is good for Bujins as well, so there's no reason why you shouldn't get it for Bujins, but it's just a good card to go into the box for anyway. And lastly, Ancient Warriors looks amazing. So there's my review of the box. If you like this, then just let me know in the comments below. My name is Sarafi, and I was thrilled to have you all with me.